It's week in review time. 2 cents worth. It's me, Ryan. I'm here with Bronx. And Lindsay's in the other side of the room, who's telling me to turn down the TV. I can't hear it, but you might be able to pick it up in the background. I'm going to turn it down so no one can hear it. We got some college basketball on. It is Thursday the 17th. You guys will see this if you listen to it on Friday the 18th. We'll go over some stuff in sports today. We'll go over what went on in the week of Ryan and what we have upcoming. Not a lot. Not the most busiest week in the world. Coming off of 2 days off, we drove down to Florida, if you heard last week, the last 2 episodes, the week in review, and then the Rattlesnake, Charles, Chucky Bolt. We're both done in Florida. We drove down Thursday last week for a wedding. So yeah, not the busiest week for entertaining purposes of a lot going on. So could be 20 minutes. I don't. The hell if I know. We'll see. Usually I say that and then I'll go and talk for 40 or 50 minutes. But yeah. So start of the week, we'll say Saturday, right? Because the last time I talked to you guys was Friday, basically. No, Thursday, because I recorded both podcasts last Thursday. So Saturday we were in Orlando for our friend Lenny and Shayna's wedding. We drove down there Friday. Kids stay with the in-laws, Mimi and Papa in Florida. And then went to Orlando. Had a great time at their wedding. It was really nice. Got to see a lot of Orlando because we went to a lot of different places for the reception, which was at Universal City Walk, which was cool, and had a good time. We went out to a couple bars after that. Kept the party going for a while, which was fun. You know, having no kids and being able to Uber back to the hotel and everything. And then Saturday we had the wedding. In between, going to cool rooftop bar, and then hopping on the bus to the reception. And then Sunday, back on the road again. So we left from Orlando. In-laws brought the kids to Orlando, met us there, and we were back on the road. And it wasn't horrible. You know, I always think the worst when I'm going on a long road trip, especially with the kids and the dog. The worst part was that poor Nolan had a fever basically the whole ride home, so that kind of sucked for him. He just was not comfortable. He wanted to lay down, couldn't. You know, we're in the car for 8 hours, so we tried to get home as fast as we could for him so he could get to bed and rest and everything. So, you know, thankfully there wasn't a lot of traffic. We were safe, and we didn't see any accidents or anything like that, so everything was good. Nice, easy road trip home. You know, 8 hours isn't horrible. Some people might say I'm a big wuss for hating road trips and that type of stuff, but man, 8 hours is long. I don't care. I don't care what anyone says. Being on the road that long it wears you down. I think all of us were just exhausted. Ordered a pizza when we got home. You know, that was just kind of how we ended the night. It was like, you know what? We had Wendy's for lunch. We're going to have a pizza and we're going to bed. And that was basically what it was. So that was Sunday. We got home, missed all the football games basically the whole weekend. So trying to play catch up on that. But we were checking scores throughout the drive home and saw the Patriots and Chargers. I thought the Chargers were going to be able to go into New England and possibly pull something off because they went 8-1 on the road this year. And every time they hopped on a plane, they were 8-0 because the one time they didn't, they played the Rams and they didn't get on a plane. But this time, not so much. The Patriots handed it to them. And I loved Brady's quote at the end of the game. I got to see that in the highlights where he was like, you know, everyone thinks we suck. So, which was kind of funny because basically the whole week leading up to it, I watched Fox Sports 1 a lot, you know, Colin Cowherd and some of the other shows on there and ESPN, and all of them were saying that the Patriots aren't the best team. You know, they're aging, they don't look as good, these other teams are better than them. You know, everyone was high on the Chargers, as was I, because of the statistics, you know, 8-1 on the road. And so obviously, you know, they're all hearing that and everything. You know, you can only dismiss what's going on in the media for so long or pretend like you're not listening to it. But all these guys, a lot of these guys are listening to what's going on in the chatter and everything. And so his quote at the end of the game was pretty funny. Everyone thinks we suck. Well, apparently you don't, because you beat a really good Chargers team, and now you're in the AFC Championship game again. So we got Chiefs and Patriots. That is the 6:40 game, I believe it is. Lindsay, look that up for me. What time's the AFC Championship game start? The NFC, you got the Saints and Rams. Again, thought maybe the Cowboys could pull it off. I didn't really think the Eagles were going to be able to go into New Orleans. I did get to watch that game. That was good. When we got home, I got to watch that game. But Eagles looked real good. What time was it at?
So the Rams, Saints are 3:05 on Sunday.
Rams and Saints are at 3:05.
And then New England, Kansas City, 6:40.
New England, Kansas City, 6:40. So I'll watch half that game before I fall asleep, because those are both on Sunday. Yeah, I'll watch that till about halftime. At Kansas City, at Saints, I'm going to go Saints, and I'm going to say Patriots. It's going to be Saints and Patriots. I know, Lindsay's cringing. It's going to be Saints and Patriots. If anyone thinks otherwise, I just don't see Tom Brady losing. Now, I could see them losing in the Super Bowl because the Saints with Drew Brees, I could certainly see that. But I don't see him losing. AFC Championship game. It's just not going to happen. Brady's too good. Patriots are too good. They're too disciplined. They're gonna beat the Chiefs. Chiefs are young. You know, Mahomes, good quarterback, but he's young. I don't know if he's going to be able to withstand the pressure. I'm going to say all this, and the Chiefs are going to come out and fucking whoop somebody's ass. We'll see. So that's Sunday. So Monday we go into it, back into the rhythm, and I was able to get workouts done when I was in Florida, so that was nice. We hit the hotel gym, so I kind of kept on that track of trying to stay with the program on. This is the tomorrow morning. This comes out tomorrow morning. This morning was our last workout of the program that I'm on, so the 9-week program's over, and Pete and I are starting the 12-week program by Mike O'Hearn. And if you haven't heard of this guy or seen this guy, I want you to go and look him up. So Mike O'Hearn, I'm going to get you how old he is. But this guy is an absolute freak of nature. And we have done a few of his workouts in the past. And I certainly don't want to try and look like him because I just don't have that ability. But he is 49 years old. He'll be 50 on January 26th. So he's basically 50 years old, and he looks like he's 20. It's insane how big and in shape this dude is. He was Titan, for those of you old enough, he was Titan on American Gladiators. So he refers to himself as Titan at times and everything. So it's really he's actually pretty motivating. He's a motivational speaker. He's got his own YouTube channel where he films his workouts and everything, and he calls it the 4 a.m. Club, where he gets up and he goes to the gym at 4 a.m. at a Gold's Gym out in Venice Beach. So it's cool. And again, we've done his programs before. This is a new one that just came out. So we're going to try it. So it's 12 weeks, 5 days a week. So I'll keep you guys posted on that and how that is. And then we're going to come back to this program we just did, this last 9-week program. We're going to do this 12-week with O'Hearn's stuff, which is it's not a lot of cardio. It's basically no cardio. So we're on our own for cardio, but it is trying to build a lot of lean muscle and also a little bit of mass, and then get back to this one that we just did, the 9-week, where you have these circuits at the end, which is your cardio to help kind of burn more fat as well in that. So we'll see how that all works out, because Pete's got a trip to the Bahamas in May, and then Lindsay and I are going to the Caribbean in the summer. So we got some trips to work for to help motivate us and get to our goals. So I'm excited for Monday, because, I think in any workout program, if you go to the gym on a regular basis, it is nice to switch it up, because you kind of get, you can hit plateaus, it can get mundane, you lose motivation. So I always look forward to a new workout program. So Monday should be good, and I'll let you know how that goes next week. So I'm looking at my computer for something. Okay. So let's just go through the week real quick, I guess. So, again, really not that much going on. Like, we can talk more sports. What's that?
Okay.
I know it's okay, but I mean, I don't want to put out a 10-minute podcast. That's not going to be the most exciting thing in the world. For you soccer fans, Manchester United won 1-0 over Tottenham this weekend. So Steve, British Steve, who's a Tottenham fan, avid listener, man, you guys couldn't beat the hot Red Devils right now. So wish I was home for that game because I would have had you over and I would have laughed in your face because the last time you and I watched Tottenham and Manchester United, I went to your house and United got absolutely embarrassed. And I really couldn't say anything nor do anything. I just had to sit on your couch nice and quiet while you screamed at the TV in joy. So we missed out on this one. But yeah, so if you're a United fan anywhere across the world, we're playing well right now. I think we still have a lot of gaps on our team that we need to get addressed, but a couple more weeks in the January transfer market, and then in the summer we can hopefully address that and figure out who our long-term manager is going to be. If it's going to be Oli or it's going to be Oli or anybody else, Zidane, Pochettino, any of those guys. There's a list of potential managers. But yeah, it was nice to have that to come home to as well. A victory. 6 in a row, which is good. Playing well right now. Let's see. What else is going on? I'm just looking at sports. Oh, for me and the Yankees, a little somber moment this week. Former pitching coach Mel Stoudemire passed away at age 77, so that sucked. As a Yankee fan, he was our pitching coach for a lot of our World Series teams in the 90s and early 2000s. So sucked to see that he passed away. And then in baseball news, still nothing on Machado and Harper. The latest is that Machado did get an offer. He got one from the White Sox, and now it's saying that it's 7 years, $175 million, which is nowhere near the $300 million that everyone has been talking about all offseason that him and Harper are both going to get. 8 to 10 years, and it's going to be $300 million. Each of them are going to get that type of contract, and the White Sox come out with a 7-year, $175 million. And so then Machado's agent and had to kind of play clean up there because they didn't really want to make it seem like that was the offer, and there's no proof that's the offer, and it wasn't $175 million, but there's a lot of sources out there saying it's $175 million, which isn't great for a 26-year-old. And it kind of shows the market that Major League Baseball is in right now with free agents that, some of these big contracts that used to be given away might be coming to an end here. A-Rod got 2 10-year contracts, and they're still the largest in baseball from a 10-year perspective. I saw that today. He still tops the list of that. So supposedly, now the latest, I remember a couple weeks ago it was that Machado was going to announce, Machado was going to announce in the new year, like right at the new year. Well, apparently no offers have come through, and basically what I'm hearing now is it's between the Phillies and the White Sox, unless there's this random team that hasn't really been around a lot of the rumors, and the Yankees have basically remained silent. They've signed LeMahieu, Gold Glove winner from the Rockies, and they brought in Troy Tulowitzki. So I think they've addressed their infield, and I don't think Machado is somebody that they're going to look towards. I saw today. And again, I talk about the Yankees a lot, but that's my team, so if you don't want to hear it, just fast forward. I saw today that we might be looking at Nolan Arenado from Colorado because he becomes a free agent next year. So they're going to give Andujar another year, our current third baseman, another year to see if his defense improves. And if it does, great, he's somebody that we can invest in long term. If not, then they'll probably try and sign Nolan Arenado, and it makes sense. So the last 3 signings they've made, Troy Tulowitzki, former Rocky, LeMahieu, former Rocky, and then today we signed their reliever. Let me just pull it up so I can say his name right. Where'd he go? Adam Ottavino. He is a bullpen guy, reliever. So 3 years, I think we gave him. So we're firming up our bullpen and another Rockies. So 3 guys from the Rockies. So I think, that's stacking the deck right there to try and convince Nolan Arenado to come to the Yankees next year. So I think that'd be interesting to see what happens. Sticking with baseball, though, baseball/football, Tebow is the top headline right now for ESPN for if you go to Major League Baseball as of right now. Probably will be for tomorrow, too, unless somebody signs. Tim Tebow is to open spring training in Mets Major League camp. Can you imagine if Tim Tebow makes the Major League roster? Could you imagine that? I didn't even know the guy played baseball until he was out of football and he was doing SEC Network for ESPN, and then was like, well, I'm going to try baseball. I was pretty good in high school. Didn't play it in college, and now this guy could be in the pros. He is... That, to me, is just a freak athlete. Not to mention, we'll stick with Tim Tebow on this one. Not to mention, he got engaged this week and was in Orlando the same time we were. He was celebrating at Walt Disney World while we were in Orlando, but we stuck to the Universal side of town. Interesting. Top headline for Major League Baseball. That's how the media rolls. Tim Tebow to open spring training in Mets Major League camp. Yankees and Ottavino reached 3-year deal. Yankees, LeMahieu on his role. He says they told him to bring a lot of gloves, so he's going to play first base, second base, shortstop, third. He's going to play wherever they need him to, probably outfield too if we need him to. So where's Harper and Machado going to go? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Send me a message, post something, screenshot this, and put it on one of your stories on Instagram, and just give me your prediction. Where's Machado going to go? Where's Harper going to go? Everything that I'm reading, a lot of predictions are that Harper's going to go to Los Angeles because of the trade that they did with the Reds, where they freed up right field by getting rid of Kemp and Puig. And then Machado is going to go to the Phillies. Because all I've heard all offseason is how much money the Phillies have. And they're going to spend all this money. I think it'd be hilarious. Just my own personal just dickheadedness, that I think it would be hilarious if the Phillies didn't sign any of these guys. And they've been talking about this for 2 years. And this is going to be their offseason. This is what they're going to do. They're going to spend all this money. We're going to get all these guys. They might sign Machado and Harper. If they don't get either one of them, what a blow to the Phillies organization. And just, if the Chicago White Sox sign Manny Machado over the Philadelphia Phillies, and the White Sox weren't out telling everybody that they're going to spend all this money and that they're going to build and build, that'd be shocking to me. But I think Machado's going to end up with the Phillies, and I think Harper's going to end up with the Dodgers, and potentially still go back to the Nationals. The Nationals did give him an offer before the end of the year, and he turned it away because he wanted to see what free agency looked like. And right now, for both these guys, it doesn't look as great as I think they thought it was going to be. So, interesting times right now in free agency. And as I mentioned, every single week, spring training is basically right around the corner. We're halfway through January already. It's only 5-6 weeks from now that pitchers and catchers report for spring training. So, be very, very interesting. All right. Let's see what else we got going on. Both kids were sick this week. That was fun. Got a call Monday from Harrison School. He'd been in school for 2 hours. He only was in school for 4 hours. So, basically half his day. That he was falling asleep and just wasn't himself. And I pick him up, and he's out on the playground. And this kid comes sprinting to me. Daddy, Daddy, Daddy. I just look at the teacher, and she's like, I swear, I promised you he was tired. He wasn't acting himself. I'm like, this kid's fine. Get him home. His cheeks are red and whatnot, and he acted fine the rest of the day, so we thought he was all right. And then the next day, it's like if you have kids, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you don't have kids and you're younger and you have drunk friends or drunk roommates, having children is basically like living with two drunk people. So I two kids. It is basically having a drunk person in your house at all times. Just the waves of emotion, the way that their personalities kind of go in and out, and just like their mood swings and everything, and things are being thrown, and there's food on the ground, and there's demands, and there's all these types of things. So I say that because it's Tuesday. I go and pick him up from my parents' house, and Harrison's acting totally fine. And my parents are like, yeah, he's been fine all day. He slept good. He took a good nap. Da-da-da. He's in the car with me. He's talking to me. Get to the house. He's playing in the garage for a little bit with the toys. Tell him, hey, you want to come in for dinner? Yeah, I want dinner. Says he wants dinner. Great. So he comes inside. I put him in his chair, and he literally just like slouches down and goes like almost like comatose, to where it's like he's just all of a sudden just completely wiped out and exhausted. So it's like going to like a party with your friend, and your guys are all having a great time and everything, and like the next drink just kind of like hits them perfectly, to where it's like, boom, they're drunk, they're blackout, and they can't move. Like that is basically like, it's terrible. I'm comparing my children to hanging out with drunk people, but it's true. Yeah, so, didn't feel good. Kept him home from school on Wednesday. So basically the house has been dealing with head colds and little mini fevers. Thankfully the fevers haven't been too bad, and they haven't lasted too long. The kids have been sleeping during the night and everything. So it's worked out, but hopefully for Lindsay and I, we stay healthy and we don't get sick, because that's the other thing. Oh, man, I'll get tired. That's the other thing with kids, man. They fucking bring so many germs around. It's insane. A few years ago, when Nolan went to preschool, he came back with basically a stomach virus, and it went through the whole house, and I was the last one to get it, and it hit me so bad I got put in the hospital. Lindsay had to call 911 at like 2:30 in the morning, and I'm outside the hospital the next morning, and no shoes, because they brought an ambulance. I drove in the ambulance to the hospital because they had to give me, I was so dehydrated, and they had to, basically get me better. So they had to bring, I couldn't move. I was on an IV. Yeah, thank you. I couldn't think of it. I was like, I didn't want to be like, they had to resuscitate or revive me, because they certainly didn't have to revive me. An IV. But yeah, I was laid out on the bathroom floor, and I couldn't get up. And when they sat me up, they were like, dude, you got pale as a ghost. And they got the IV in me, and they brought me in the hospital, the ambulance to the hospital. And like the next morning, we don't have our cars, because Lindsay went with me, and my parents came over to watch Nolan at like 3:00 in the morning and spend the night. And I walk outside the hospital for my dad to come and get us, and I'm in socks with no shoes, gym shorts with no underwear, and basically like an undersized T-shirt, because that is what I was in the night before, and that's what I'm leaving. I look like I'm like a homeless person who has like a drug addiction and got brought into the hospital the night before. So that's what I looked like a few years ago, because my kids bring germs back into your house that your body hasn't been faced with since you were in school. So just a fun little story for you, if you guys wanted to know that. Again, if not, fast forward. But I thought it was funny. Let's see what else we got. I'm gonna just scroll through ESPN real quick, see what's out there. Again, not a lot. Tune in Sunday. I got her name is Gabe Cole. She'll be coming on. Her Instagram is mostly Whole Mrs. Cole, and she does a lot of whole food cooking, Whole30, clean eating. She also sells Beauty Counter, so different type of products that are also for women and men. I did not realize they were for men as well. I looked that up today. Saw that, but she's coming on, so we're talking about that on Sunday. give a little different perspective, a little different conversation, but it'll still be based on fitness as well. Doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be any of this. I've been thinking about it. I'm going to keep focusing on sports and fitness, but if there's interesting guests that I can get on that, they don't always have to talk about, the fitness industry or, their past career as an athlete. They don't have to. And I think Gabe's a very interesting guest, and I got a couple other guests coming on that not everything that they do is solely focused around sports and fitness. So it's good. It gives people different perspectives, and previous guests haven't either. So I'm going to keep doing that. We're going to keep to this topic, sports, because that's what I enjoy. But, again, if there's an interesting guest and I can get them on, that's what I'm going to do. So she's coming on Sunday, so tune in for that, episode 22. So this is 21. I'm 21 episodes in, which is kind of crazy to think about because at first I was only going to do it once a week. So if I did it once a week, episode 20 would mean I'd be basically getting 21. I'd be getting close to doing it for half a year, and really I've only been doing it since the end of October. So, thinking about trying to, do I scale back to one a week, and do I always have a guest? Do I just, if I don't have a guest, I can just come on and talk an hour about stuff going on, kind of do this review, but without a guest, or I just have one as a guest. So I'm just contemplating that, just trying to figure out time and everything, if I can really continue to dedicate in the new year for 2 a week. But for now, I'm going to stick to 2 a week, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see how the listeners react to it, and how, if the listening base continues to grow, I'll certainly do it. I have to obviously stay patient. Again, like I said, I've only been doing this since October, but the original plan was to do it once a week. So now that I'm doing it twice a week, just need to make sure that it's the best thing for all parties. So again, if you're enjoying the twice a week, let me know. If once a week is what it's going to be, then and everyone's good with that, that's what I'm going to continue. That's what I might just end up going back to. Just from a time perspective, it gives me the ability to record it. Really, I don't have to try and always get this in before Friday if I don't need to. Again, I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just I'm just trying to think if it's worth it for everybody and myself. I got to just make sure I'm using my time wisely, because I do have a full-time job, and I'm also a dad and a husband, and apparently a dog warmer, because the dog just basically always has to be laying on me. Nobody else, on me at all times. And I run hot for body heat. So it's not the most ideal situation dealing with him on me at all times. But it is what it is. All right, let's take a gander. I said I was going to take a gander at take a look at ESPN because I'm on here. Let's see what we got here. Oh, Kyler Murray. He's going to the NFL draft. Love to know your thoughts. What do you think? Do you think he's going to be a quarterback in the NFL? Do you think he'll sign if he doesn't get drafted in the first round or the top 15 picks? Do you think he would go, or would he stick to baseball? I think it would be very interesting. Oh, wow, look at this. Phil Mickelson. Here's something for you golf fans. Phil Mickelson shoots 12 under 60, tying career low. So today is the opening round of... what is it called? The Desert Classic in La Quinta, California. Lindsay, you're going down there. Mm-hmm. La Quinta is down in Southern California, in like the Palm Springs, Coachella area. That's where it is. They're playing the PGA West course. And Phil Mickelson, and it says Mickelson began his 27th. This guy's been on tour for 27 years. 27th full season as a pro Thursday by flirting with one of the few feats he hasn't accomplished, golf's magic number, which is 59. The 48-year-old left-hander still shot a 12 under 60 in the Desert Classic, tying his career low score he last shot in the Phoenix Open 6 years ago. It was the most under par he has been in any of the 2,077 rounds he has played on the PGA Tour. I just want to say that again. 2,077 rounds this guy has played on the PGA Tour in 27 years. That's crazy. That's a shit ton of golf. Needing to play the final 2 holes in 2 under to shoot 59, which is the magic number. Mickelson missed a 15-foot birdie try on the par 4 17th before holding a 9-foot birdie on the 18th. Cool. It is his first competitive appearance since the Tiger Woods match in Las Vegas, which you guys, if you've been listening, all know how that went down at our house and how big of a bummer it was and how much more fun we had doing side bets and our own gambling with the, 8 to 10 people we had at our house and more shit talk was happening in my living room than there was on the television, which was what this whole thing was being brought up was going to be, is that these two, titans of golf were going to basically, beat each other up verbally the whole time, and all they did was talk about each other's kids and how much it was boring. So anyways, first time he's played since November. Not a bad way to start your season. Now let's see how he finishes. This is the first round. Obviously he's going to go three more rounds. Let's see if he can win. Let's go back to the top. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, I was on Major League Baseball earlier, and on the top for ESPN, Tebow, again, being on the Mets, that is a top headline on ESPN overall on their main page. Mickelson, Bob Kraft has come out and said Tom Brady is definitely the best player ever, greatest player ever. Do you think he's the greatest player ever? Let me know. Yeah. Lindsay says Brady? No. Who's your greatest player ever then?
I just don't like
Oh, okay. She says no because she doesn't like him. You should on this show you're supposed to have
Birdie's the best player ever.
Vinny. If you didn't pick that up, Vinny Testaverde is the best player ever according to Lindsay. I think I should just end the show like that. Vinny Testaverde is the greatest player ever in football. Greatest player ever. Oh, you know what? Let's talk about this. Because if Preston's listening to it, which this will be a test. If Preston's listening to it, Duke lost to Syracuse at Duke this week, and he's a big fan. Now, this is the test, if he listens to this or not. Because if he doesn't listen, he'll never know that I even said this, but fuck Syracuse. Fuck Jim Boeheim. Duke was without our starting point guard and the number 3 player in the country, Cam Reddish.
So you're saying he got lucky?
Am I saying he got lucky? Absolutely. And he even admitted to me in a text message that they got lucky because we were without 2 of our 5 starters. That makes a huge difference. Especially when all 5 of your starters are basically, I think all of them are freshmen, or 4 or 5 of them are freshmen. Yeah, that's a big thing. That's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
For your tennis fans, I'm looking right now. Australian Open is on. First major of the year, Australian Open. Lindsay, I know you're a huge tennis fan.
Huge.
Crazy. Big time tennis fan. Did we watch? We did. I was going to ask you if we watched any hockey while we were down at your parents'. And we did, but I didn't remember until now because I got a little drunk and I recorded 2 podcasts.
It was the Hurricanes.
It was the Carolina Hurricanes and the Lightning, and we heard about how great the Lightning were and have been this year, which from what I've seen, they are. But yeah, I'm just scrolling through ESPN. This is not the most exciting thing in the world, people. Bear with me. I think that's it, man. I don't have much else. I was lacking a little motivation this week, I'll be honest. Especially around the podcast. Is this something I want to do long term? And I listen to a lot of podcasts, and one that I listen to a lot, I was listening to this morning, and it kind of rejuvenated me. And if you follow me on Instagram, you saw the story. Eric Anders Lang had me and my golf guys, Piers and Ward, on, and they actually were talking about podcasts, and they've been doing their YouTube channel for 5 years now, and they were talking about patience. They're like, just stick with it. You know, for podcasts, you always want your listenership to go up. You want more listeners, you want more people engaging, you want more followers on Instagram and your social media, whatever it is, and then those people to go and translate into listeners, and then for them to tell others, and so on and so forth. And he was like, one of them said, you just have to be patient for those listeners and just stick to it and know that your hard work will pay off. And I've heard that a lot, and it's good, but it was good to hear it in the moment today, because I was just lacking a little motivation of. Again, I mentioned earlier, do I do this twice a week? Do I do it once a week? Do I have guests every week? Do I just do it on my own, and just make this thing whatever I want it to be? Am I seeing growth in the listeners? What do I need to do differently? All these things come into your head. Do you want to keep doing it? If it's not paying off, what do you really want to get out of this thing, I guess? So it was good to hear that. And I just felt like telling you guys that, because I do enjoy the fact that you guys listen, and I get text messages and people talk about it. That does rejuvenate me, is talking about it. So this weekend, being down at the wedding, telling new people about it, that was fun. And people ask me why do you do it? What's it about? We'll have to check it out. People I don't know. We went to this wedding, we literally knew nobody other than the bride and groom and the groom's cousin. Mm-hmm. Nobody else. And the groom's mom. That was it. We knew 4 people out of 200, and we met. No, I knew Kevin. I take that back. Kevin's the best man. So we met a bunch of good people and everybody, and we had a really good time and got to tell them about ourselves and who we are, and how we know Lenny and Shayna and all that. So, but talking about the podcast, that was rejuvenating. Again, getting text messages and people telling me that they like the show. Or if they don't even like the show, or telling me that they would like something different, or giving me suggestions, that all helps too, because it motivates me to do better and to try different things, and to stick with it. And everyone goes into ruts and stuff, right? I'm not in a rut by any means, but it's the beginning of the year. Work is really busy, which is good. Work's busy. We were on the road this week. It was kind of just a tiring week. So, trying to get that motivation and stick to it. And then, Duke losing, the kids being sick, all these things. Just,
I need the weekend.
Yeah, I need the weekend to come, I guess, right? Because I just wasn't motivated today. I was like Lindsay mentioned earlier to me, she was like, you're recording tonight? And I was just almost I almost don't want to. But I brought myself back to what I listened to this morning on the podcast about the patience thing, and to stick with it. And I'm going to stick with this, and I'm not giving it up by any means. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just kind of just talking out loud about where I'm at right now mentally with just starting the year. But I do have some guests lined up that are coming on, and I think they're going to be really good guests, and they're going to have cool stories. Like I said, Gabe Cole's coming on. My buddy Steve Lonan, who has Flat Bill Friday. So if you live in Charlotte and you follow real estate, he's a realtor, and he has his brand is Flat Bill Friday. He does videos around that and motivation, not even real estate, but just motivation stuff. So he's coming on. So again, a couple of people that I do know, and then there's some guests that are lined up that I've never met before. So it'll be good conversation to kind of get to know them and learn what they do and why they do it and what's important for them. And I'll share with you who they are in the coming weeks as we lock down dates on stuff like that. So again, that motivates me too, that people are interested to come on the show that I don't know personally, that still want to come on and have a conversation around sports and fitness and their life and what they're doing and why they do it, and et cetera. So fun next couple weeks that are coming up, along with the busy work schedule, and I'm going to have to start traveling again as the year kind of opens up a little bit. So just stick with me. I'm going to stick with this. Again, as always, if you can go on to, if you listen on Apple, go down, rate the show, give it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever stars. Leave a comment on there. That's how it gets up to other listeners. Share it with your friends. Screenshot it. Put it on your stories if you have public accounts, or even private accounts. Doesn't matter. But I can't share your screenshot on my story if you're private. It won't let me because you're a private account, and people can't see your names and all that stuff. So, which doesn't really matter to me. I don't need to share it on my story if you don't need it to be. But let me know you're listening. Send me some messages. Hope you guys enjoy it. Have a great weekend. And then again, like I said, tune in Sunday for Gabe. It'll be fun. I've known her for 5 years now, 2014. So we work with a similar client in our day jobs, and then we do this stuff on the in our off time. She does a lot of cooking and Whole Food stuff, Whole 30 stuff, not Whole Foods, Whole 30 stuff, and different challenges, and she goes to different gyms, so we're going to talk about that, as well as selling Beauty Counter and why she does that and what's exciting about that to her and her passions around alternative products and healthy eating and healthy lifestyle. So tune in for that. That'll be available Sunday. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Let's go Chiefs and Saints, though I think the Patriots are going to be in the Super Bowl again, which is good for football. People tune in. NFL loves it. I think this year, they're good. I think all 4 teams, everyone will tune in. There's usually that one team that nobody wants to go into the Super Bowl because, they're going to win. Well, no, not that they know they're going to win. Like the organization, the association, like the NFL would know, like, oh man, the viewership might be down because nobody wants to see. I'm going to use Jacksonville. Like nobody wants to see the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're not a big draw for people to tune into the Super Bowl, but people want to see the Patriots because the Patriots are a dynasty. People want to see the Chiefs because they're exciting with Patrick Mahomes. People want to see the Saints because of Drew Brees. People want to see the Rams because all they talk about is the coach is 32 years old. What's that?
I just think the Super Bowl's in Atlanta.
Super Bowl's in Atlanta this year, yep. So I think these final 4 teams, I think there's a lot of hype around all 4 of them. So it'll be cool whichever matchups it could be. It could be Rams and Chiefs would be cool. Saints and Chiefs would be cool. Patriots and Saints will be cool. Rams and Patriots will be cool. I think all 4 matchups that could happen, I think will be good matchups regardless. So good teams left, and these games on Sunday will be cool. I'm looking forward to actually being able to sit on my couch and watch them. And like I said, I'll watch the first half of the Patriots game because I'm not. Like I said, Monday morning, new program, new workout program, so I got to be up and ready to go.
It's Martin Luther King Day.
What's that? Oh, and it's Martin Luther King Day, yeah. This Monday? Yeah, you're right. Okay, cool. All right, everybody have a great weekend. Hope you enjoy it. We'll talk soon. Good night. Good morning. Good afternoon.